Welcome to another edition of Black Knights Weekly, this time coming to you from inside Tate Rink, the home of Army hockey. On this week's show, Rich DeMarco goes one-on-one with golf head coach Brian Watts, and we have features on Robert Kava and Cody Knipe. But before we get to that, let's take a look back at the week that was in Army athletics. The football team got back on the winning track as they dominated Tulane 45-6 at Michie Stadium on Saturday. Raymond Maples rushed for a career-high 141 yards and a touchdown. Quarterback Trent Steelman rushed for 2 scores and found David Brooks for a 40-yard strike. The Black Knights defense also forced 4 turnovers. Gillis Fieldhouse was the site of 2 key Patriot League volleyball matches over the weekend. Friday night, American University traveled to West Point. The visiting Eagles would take the decisive 5th set to secure the 3-2 win over Army. Ariana Mankis paced all players with 23 kills and 20 digs. One night later, it was the annual star match against Navy. The Black Knights sang the alma mater second as they swept the Mids 3-0. Senior co-captain Rachel Willis finished with a career-high 16 kills. This was Army's 10th straight star match win. On Wednesday night, the volleyball team was back at Gillis Fieldhouse hosting Sacred Heart. The visitors swept the match 3-0, but only defeated Army by a total of 9 points. Francine Vasquez had 7 kills and only 1 error in the match. Just a short way from Gillis Fieldhouse, the Sprint football team hosted Mansfield Friday night. The Black Knights racked up 604 yards of total offense as they defeated the Mountaineers 56-7. Javier Sesteda went 22 for 29 and threw for 5 touchdowns. Cody Knipe was on the receiving end of 3 of those scores as he had 9 catches for 130 yards. After 2 weeks off, the cross-country teams returned to action at the Paul Short Run. This was the first time this season the Black Knights competed against other members of the Patriot League. On the men's side, Barrett Lahardy had the top time for the 3rd consecutive race, finishing 82nd out of 402 runners. Senior Chelsea Prawl paced the women's team with an 89th place finish. 2 Army squads were on the road taking on Academy rival Navy last week. The golf team squared off with the Mids on Friday and Saturday. After being tied at 2 after day 1, Navy used strong singles play to secure the star on Saturday. The men's soccer team also faced the Mids Saturday night in Annapolis. Navy scored the only goal of the match in the 16th minute to secure the victory. The Black Knights were back at Clinton Field Wednesday night as they hosted Hartford. The Hawks would take a 2-0 lead into halftime, but goals by Josh Copey and Tanner Robertson would force overtime. A little more than a minute into the second overtime session, TJ Rao found Elliot McGilbra, who buried the 17-yard game-winning shot. The women's soccer team was at Clinton Field on Sunday for their Patriot League opener against Holy Cross. Kim Ahn and Aaron Helbling each scored goals as the Black Knights won 2-0. Goalie Monica Lee recorded 6 saves for her 9th shutout of the season. After this short timeout, Rich DeMarco goes one-on-one with golf head coach Brian Watts. That's next.
This is Scott Swanson, Director of Strength Conditioning, with our SurgeX training tip of the week. These are additional tips to help you restart your training program. 1, find a friend. 2, put an X on your calendar. Line those X's up. 3, enjoyment before effort. Enjoy each and every workout. 4, create a ritual. And 5, measure your fitness levels, not just in body weight, but in push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups.
Welcome back to Black Knights Weekly. Rich DeMarco at the West Point Golf Course going one-on-one with the Black Knights head golf coach. That's Brian Watts, heading into his 2nd year here at West Point, coming off a Patriot League championship 1 year ago and already into the fall season here in 2011-2012. Brian, thanks for a few minutes here on Black Knights Weekly.
Oh, you bet, Rich. It's great to be here and look forward to chatting with you.
A lot of fun since you've come to West Point, winning the Patriot League championship 1 year ago. Tell me about your experience since you've come here to the Point and how rewarding it's been to be the head coach of this golf team.
Well, I don't know where to start. It's absolutely been an incredible experience for me as well as my family. And to have the opportunity to work with the fine young men here at West Point has been, very thrilling and exciting and educational for me. And I feel as a coach I've grown so much since I've been here, just a little over a year, and learned so much about the history of West Point and what the Army stands for. And for me, that at my age, that's an important factor in my life, and hopefully I'm going to be able to share that along the way.
Before West Point, 13 years at Oregon State, the last 9 as head coach. You finished with 4 straight trips to the NCAA tournament. Why the move from Oregon State to West Point?
Well, I think beyond anything else, it was just it was a change, and I think change is always good. I wasn't looking to leave Oregon State by any means, but I think for me, the opportunity to be a part of something bigger than golf was just something I couldn't pass up.
You are a multi-sport athlete as a youngster, recruited as a college football player. What was it about golf that had you settle in on that as the sport you focused on?
Well, I think it was probably a blessing in disguise. As I spoke a little earlier with you before we started the interview, I've had a few mishaps along the way with injuries, and so after 1 year of college football, my body was beat up pretty bad, and the coach and I didn't really see eye to eye, and so it was basically making a decision to either finish my education or go do something else. And so for me, I loved golf. I grew up playing golf, and along with some other sports, and I was pretty good at it. And so I felt like after college, it was an opportunity for me to turn professional and play for 4 years, and I did that. And obviously, I wouldn't be standing here if I didn't have that experience.
Tell me about being a professional golfer, how that helped shape you, and as a coach, what type of perspective you gain from being a professional golfer when you're molding now college golfers.
Yeah, I think, Rich, for me, being a coach, you actually learn more about the game than you do actually if you're playing it. And I played it for 4 years and professionally, and I learned a ton. Don't get me wrong. But when you're on the outside looking in, trying to coach, and all the golf that I've watched over the last 15 years of my life coaching, there's not anything I haven't seen yet. And so for me, it's about molding these individuals and having them understand that in order for them to play great golf, they have to understand who they are and who they want to be out on the golf course. And with my philosophy of the big picture is really why I came here. It's not golf first. It's about what we're doing in our everyday lives. That's gonna affect them not only off the golf course, but what they're doing on the golf course. And if they can get all those pieces together off the golf course, golf becomes so much easier to be successful at.
Brian, you mentioned molding cadet athletes and working with the cadets in the bigger picture. What type of impact has working with cadet athletes had on you in your time here as head coach?
Well, I think one, communication skills, because everything here at West Point is about communication, but it's also about the things that I try to instill into my children and my family, and that's, the integrity and trust and respect. And you gain that immediately as soon as you step foot on West Point, and that's what it's all about. And so the relationship that I have with these cadet athletes has been really important for me to grow as a coach. And we always talk about what the coaches are teaching the cadet athletes, and it's a two-way street. They're teaching us just as much as we're learning from them. So for me, it's about growing every day and getting better every day, and hopefully my cadet athletes are getting better every day as well.
Well, Brian, thanks a lot for a couple of minutes here on Black Knights Weekly. Best of luck in the rest of the fall season and, of course, in the spring season as you go ahead and defend the Patriot League Championship.
Thank you so much.
That's Army golf coach Brian Watts joining us here on Black Knights Weekly. I'm Rich DeMarco. We'll have more of the show coming up in just a moment.
Join the Army A Club today and support cadet athletes 12 months a year. Members of the A Club receive priority consideration for parking, seat locations, pregame hospitality, as well as Army-Navy tickets. But the benefits don't stop there. The A Club also gives members access to special receptions and events throughout the year. To join, visit the A Club link at goarmysports.com or call 845-938-2322. The Army A Club, supporting cadet athletes.
As you saw earlier in the show, the Sprint football team bounced back from their opening loss to Navy with a win over Mansfield. And one of the players that played a key role was receiver Cody Knipe. Here's his story in his own words.
Cody Knipe, number 7, Sprint football wide receiver. My favorite part of playing receiver is just being able to make big plays, especially in this offense. I get a lot of chance to make big plays and go up over top of kids. The new offense is awesome. I come from an offense in high school where we ran the veer, so we didn't get to throw the ball a whole lot. So when Coach Pavlovich came in, told me that we were going to primarily throw the ball all the time, I was pretty stoked about it. The toughest part about being a receiver in this offense is running a lot of deep routes, so definitely get winded pretty quick, especially when first game of the season we ran over 100 plays, and then this last game we ran 80 plays, so I have to be in pretty good shape. Javier Stata is my best friend. We share this bond. I don't know what it is. He just knows when I'm coming out of my breaks, where he needs to put the ball for me to get it. He just knows me like the back of his hand, I guess. All the screens that we have in our offense, I love. Just a lot of fun. Especially the linemen love it too because they get to come out and just crack people, get big hits. Blocking, I'm not a big fan of blocking. I'm not very good at it, but I do what I can. Try and spring the running back free a few times a game. After a big score, run to the sideline, the team's always jacked up. We like to celebrate as much as we can, but still keep our cool and not try to show off in front of the other team. Our team just has to remember the sting that we felt after we lost to Navy. I mean, it was going into it, we were pretty confident, and then to come away and not be victorious didn't feel very good. So I think we just need to use that as motivation for the rest of the season and make sure we get back after it for when we meet them last game of the season again.
And that matchup with Navy comes up in November here at West Point. We'll have more Black Knights Weekly after this.
Army football tickets are on sale now. Don't miss a minute of the day-long excitement at West Point's historic Michie Stadium. Come out on Saturday, October 29th. The Black Knights take on Fordham. Kickoff is at 3:30. It's Military Appreciation Day. All military members can purchase tickets for just $10. And the first 5,000 fans will receive a limited edition print of Army's 1996 Independence Bowl team. Call the Army ticket office at 877-TIX-ARMY or go online at GoArmySports.com. Army football. It's more than just a game at West Point.
One football player who's seen a lot of time on the field this year is Robert Kava, but he's seen a lot of different positions along the Army offensive line. Rich DeMarco has more.
The versatility of offensive lineman Robert Kava has come in quite handy for the Army football team this season. The senior from American Samoa began the year at tackle and moved up the depth chart to see snaps with the starting unit on both the right and left sides. Then, after right guard Joe Bailey suffered a season-ending injury at Ball State, Kava stepped into that starting spot last week. Now, moving back to tackle, Kava truly has been able to do whatever has been asked of him and is taking his role in stride.
I don't mind it at all. It's actually it's funny. I get jokes, you know, with the coaches. You know, this week I'm this week I'm that. I sort of have like an identity crisis. It's fun, but at the end of the day, just all I'm worried about is putting the best guy on the field. And I'm just grateful to be inside and helping out.
Not surprisingly, Kava, the younger brother of former Black Knight David Kava, says playing significant time at both tackle and guard has led to some confusion.
It gets weird sometimes. It's pretty funny because like the boards come up and then I'll be in a tackle mentality and I'll move around and oh no, just trying to hunker down and just know my assignments, both tackle and guard. So it was weird at first, and then after repetition, after practice, I get better at it.
And Army head coach Rich Ellerson has seen how Kava's ability to adjust and adapt has had an impact on the entire offensive line.
It's great for younger guys to see how the palpable difference between a guy that as you say, is understanding not just what to do from an assignment standpoint, but conceptually what we're trying to accomplish and how efficient and effective that makes them. And you can see in some cases some more gifted guys around him that are bigger, stronger, faster, more explosive, that don't understand quite what they're not necessarily screwed up assignment-wise, but just the efficiency with which he plays and the poise and competence. That stuff is contagious and a great example for younger guys who are trying to break into this stuff.
With the perspective of playing multiple positions along the Army offensive line and in different spots on the depth chart, Kava has truly had a unique perspective on how this unit, which began the year with 4 new starters, has gelled.
Oh, this offensive line has been doing great. We've came together, we bonded together well throughout the summer, throughout our leadership details, going throughout our training camps. This is like we are a very tight group. Every week we meet together, every Monday for a little get together for dinner. We'll just talk, we'll relax a little bit. And it's just, it's been fun with the young guys and just getting to know them and them getting to know us. It's a very good, very great experience.
Being a part of an offensive line which is blocking for one of the nation's top rushing offenses often comes with credit from Army's stable of running backs. But Kava is quick to return the favor and deflect that credit right back to the runners.
They help the O-line out a lot. They clean up our mistakes, and it doesn't look too bad on tape when they're busting out those big plays. A lot of it comes from them, and we just try to get just enough on defense, just open up that space for the running backs. The running back group, the running back core is excellent. They're great, and they're hitting the holes that we're making for them.
And with the way the Black Knights are running and blocking over the season's first month, there surely is more success in store for the Army offense wherever Robert Kava is playing this season. For Black Knights Weekly, I'm Rich DeMarco.
Kickoff in Oxford, Ohio is at 1 p.m. We'll have more Black Knights Weekly after this break.
Army fans, there's no better place to be before a West Point football game than Black Knights Alley. Open 3 hours before kickoff, come out and avoid the traffic crunch. Black Knights Alley features fun for the whole family. From the Black Knight Walk to face painting and autographs with Army athletics teams and mascots, to live music, food and beverages, inflatable games, interactive displays, and the live broadcast of the Army Football Tailgate Show. There literally is something for everyone. So make a day of it. That's Black Knights Alley, 3 hours before every Army home game along Mills Road. Army football, more than just a game.
One more thing to get to, and that's the weekend preview. The swimming and diving teams open their season Friday at home in a quad meet against Boston College, Stony Brook, and Vermont. Head coach Mickey Wender likes the progress his athletes have made in preseason practice.
First 6 weeks have been awesome. We've really put a great team together. I'm really excited with our upper class leadership. They've done an amazing job in setting the standard and just making sure that everybody knows the expectation day in and day out. The training has been consistent. It's been spirited. Our plebes have come in and really hit the ground running. They're going to make an immediate impact. We're relying on them in a lot of different areas to really help us.
After dismantling Mansfield, the Sprint football team looks to make it 2 in a row Friday night at Princeton. Head coach Lieutenant Colonel Mark West has his team focused on improving every day.
We just continue to work hard. That's really all you can do when you find yourself losing a football game is reevaluate where you are, reevaluate your personnel, and try to get better each and every week. And the key thing, again, we've tried to focus on is just being more aggressive, being more physical with our play, and attacking in everything we do. So as long as we bring that attitude to every practice, then the record will take care of itself.
It's a huge weekend for the women's soccer team. The Black Knights will host Colgate on Friday and Bucknell on Sunday. Here's head coach Stephanie Golan.
Everybody wants to start strong because the longer that the season goes, the tougher it gets to come by those wins. So we want to start strong and we want to finish strong. Last year I thought we kind of hit a lull there at the end of the season. We had a hard time scoring goals, and we didn't attain our final goal of winning the tournament and going to the NCAA tournament. So this year I think you're still seeing us get better day to day, which is good. We haven't hit a wall, and we anticipate peaking at the right time this year.
The Rifle team opens their season with matches against Memphis and Ole Miss. Head coach Major Ron Wigger says he likes the passion his team has shown in training.
That's exactly what a coach looks for. I mean, when you got kids that want to work hard and they're goal-oriented and they want to reach their highest level, that makes coaching so much easier because you're getting the feedback that you want.
The men's soccer team returns to Patriot League play with a road trip to Washington, D.C. for a matchup with American University. Head coach Russell Payne says his team is still focused on the big picture this season.
We're at a place where we still have a ton to play for. We still have a lot of potential opportunities ahead of us to capitalize on, and that's a good feeling to know that you still have that in front of you, even though we're just over the halfway point in the season.
Coming off their convincing win over Tulane, the football team returns to the field on Saturday at Miami of Ohio. Head coach Rich Ellerson says his team will be prepared heading into their game with the Redhawks.
You know, the first thing we said we got in here yesterday was guys were somehow, some way, we're going to find a way to try to be 1-0 this week. That's our plan. That's our focus. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happened last week. Other than those things, there are things that we'll look at throughout the week from last Saturday's game that we think have applications. But there are just a few of those things, and we're not going to dwell on that.
The volleyball team goes back into league play on the road at Holy Cross. Head coach Alma Cavacci is looking forward to seeing her team match up with the Crusaders.
We're looking to get better ourselves. We're working on our offense right now and our blocking, specifically our front line offense and defense, first line of defense blocking. So that's what we're working on right now. And it'll be a great opportunity to see where we are when we go to Holy Cross on Saturday.
The Roar returns to Tate Rink Saturday night as the hockey team welcomes Union to West Point. Head coach Brian Riley says the Dutchman will provide a tough test for the season opener.
It's always good to open up at home, but it's no fun to necessarily open up against a team like Union. You know, I mean, this is a team that was in the NCAA tournament last year. I think some have them picked as a top 10 team in the country right now. So try not to think so much about them, more about our team and hopefully working on some things this week and ultimately after playing Union, hopefully being a better team when we go up against UConn the following Friday.
After a short break, the women's tennis team continues its fall season with 2 events this weekend. Head coach Paul Peck says this weekend will again be a challenge for his team.
We have a couple big events coming up. The college invite at the National Tennis Center, and then some kids going down to the Hampton Roads Invitational down in Norfolk, Virginia. So it's a good measure as to where we are in our progress. You know, we've already had a couple tournaments, identified some weaknesses, so hopefully we've been able to work on those and see what happens.
The men's tennis team also continues their fall slate as they take part in the Cornell Shootout. Head coach Jim Poling says his team is excited for their second weekend of play.
We've got, besides us, 3 of the top 6 teams in the East playing in this tournament, and we've got a lot of opportunities to beat some of the top players. So our guys are excited. They've been working hard. It's going to be a great weekend.
That will do it from here inside Tate Rink, which will be packed with rabid Army hockey fans come Saturday night. For everyone here at ITT Night Vision, we'll see you next week. So long, everybody.